We have your daughter.
This isn't now this isn't the first time you've taken my daughter.
This is not the first time I've taken your daughter.
You are routinely taking my daughter, sir, and I would appreciate it if next time you took her that we could communicate on a secure line. Because
Listen,
one thing you may not know about
I
me.
make the demands around here.
Excuse me, sir. It's my daughter you have. I'm the man speaking. Because I do have a very, very, very particular set of skills.
It's not kidnap if she likes it.
Continuing
Tonight on 2 C's in a Pod. 96.7 on your...
Two C's in a pod, 2 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 C's in a pod, because we're 2 C's in a pod, just like 2 C's in a pod, 2 C's in a pod at gmail.com. That was your intro.
Why not?
You're gonna end it on
Talking about
Cam. You're gonna end it on that. That doesn't that doesn't reflect who you are.
welcome to Two Season Pod, the only supporting podcast of kidnapping. We 100% endorse any form of kidnapping that is consensual.
Consensual kidnapping. Some people call it running away together, or some people will call it consensual kidnapping. That's right. I am not kidnapped. My name is Cameron Osborne. I am a free man on my own free will. Currently living his own life. Another man.
That's
I know
what
I
they
can't.
want you to think.
I can't specifically account for his kidnapping status. Maybe he can tell you. He's on the other line. His name is Cam LeClaire.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny that I am or am not kidnapped. But you know what? We live in a society, man, and kidnapping might just be a state of mind. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, Cam. Have you ever been a kidnappee? Like the one who is being kidnapped?
No, but when does kidnapping stop? Like, you know, I think you can be kidnapped even as an old person.
Yeah, as an adult man, sometimes I am worried about being kidnapped.
Are you?
I'm sure there's been a time, you know, even as a younger man, you know, possibly my early 20s, you know, you're walking home very late at night, and it's dark, no one's around you. There's always the scare that someone's gonna hop out of a van and throw you into it.
What's more worrying to you, someone breaking into your house while you're there, or someone kidnapping you?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say breaking into my house while I'm there.
What do you think your go-to move would be? You hear someone come in the door and you're like, I got a feeling this isn't someone we know. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to be a little bit sneaky. Like, what's your go-to move?
Well, I have you settled there, Cam, already. It's I have a katana. It's sort of nestled right by my bed, and sometimes I practice. I like to practice precautionary measures of situations I may end up in one day. One of those situations, somebody's broken into my house, they're trying to kill me. So sometimes very late at night, I will, almost as if I'm setting up for exercise, you know, I will kind of lie in my bed, and then when I hear the stopwatch go, it's jump out, grab katana, slice. And, you know, try to get the best time. Try to get the best time in that. There's a lot of posterior chain work that goes into swinging such a blade.
I like that.
Another precautionary measure that I like to practice on myself, Cam, and I believe you should do this at home. Listeners at home, we should all be doing this. We should all be practicing dropping and picking up the soap.
Yes.
What happened? Because we all know, and so I think the privacy of your own bathtub when you are showering by yourself, whatever your situation, you may have one of those stand up, you know, where it's not a bathtub, it's just a shower. It can work in anything. All you have to do is just let it slip out of your hand. Let it slip out of your hand. It's going to bounce.
Who's using soap these days? Who's using a bar of soap these days?
I'm a barman these days.
Dude, you got to get on the loofah.
I haven't stopped being a bar of soap. I don't think I've ever had a period of time where I was a gel boy.
You never use a loofah?
I've used a loofah, but I don't use a loofah. I use a bar of soap that sits in a little plastic. That sits in a plastic dish, and again, Cam, it lets me practice dropping the soap, because dropping the loofah, it has that little like you can just like wrap it around your hand. It has a little like tie to it, but soap doesn't come with that.
It's got good grip on it though. You don't really drop it.
Exactly right. You need to practice the risk. And what do you do when you drop the soap, folks out at home? I want you to always remember, Cam. I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing right here. Never want to bend. All the problems always come when people bend to pick up the soap.
What if you have bad knees?
But what happens when you bend over, Cam? What am I leaving?
Well, what happens
open?
if you have bad knees? You're leaving open your glory hole.
Exactly, Cam. So here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to put your feet about a shoulder width apart. You're heading right over top of the soap. The soap is directly underneath me. And kind of like you're going into like a very deep, like a deadlift or a deep squat. I want to see that back nice and straight. And we go back, descend. See, all the weight is on my heels right now.
Yep.
I picked up the soap.
Grab.
And now I'm back up.
Now look where your head level is though. That's a problem.
Well, I was because I was trying to talk into the microphone.
That's where your head level is.
While I was doing this. Obviously, if I was recording a podcast while I was in a jail cell prison, I would probably tell the listeners, "Hey, folks, give me a second. I need to pick up my soap." And then I would safely look around, make sure there's nobody, like a prison guy with a scar on his face or an eye patch. Make sure none of those guys are around. And then safely pick up my soap.
Have you heard of the guy named Larry Lawton on YouTube?
No, I have not. Is this a shameless plug? Is this guy paying you to mention his name on air?
No, but he does. I think it popped up somehow in my recommended feed because I never searched for it. But and then I started watching videos. I'm like, this guy's great. He's a former ex-con that was in jail for like 10 years in like 10 different prisons. And he just like talks about prison stories. It's wild. He'll be like a Q&A where someone will be like, is dropping the soap in the shower real? And his answer's kind of like, not really. If you're a bitch, you're a bitch. Like you don't really need to make an accident happen. If you're going to get raped, you're going to get raped. You don't need to drop the soap anywhere.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's a little sad reality.
So I wonder.
It's very interesting.
Well, I guess it begs the question. I wonder what the dropped soap to prison bitch ratio is. Do you think some people are dropping the soap just to test the waters? You're like, hey, do I stand up? Do I stand the test? Because if I drop the soap and no one's coming up behind me, then hey, maybe I'm slightly higher on that prison level.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of hierarchy, a lot of rules that you just never know. A lot of cool currency stuff like what buys what. How do you get this? What do you get for the shopkeeper? How do you make trades? How do you make toilet wine? How do you get a tattoo?
Of course, when you get your what's it called? The commissionary? Is that what it's called?
Commissionary, I think so. Yeah.
It's called something to that effect in like Shawshank or something, or an old tuck shop.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just an old tuck shop.
Yeah, he says Shawshank's a very good movie for accurately representing jail.
It is pretty true. It is pretty true. The warden has that one record player that blasts out to the to the yard. What else happens? What else happens in Shawshank?
I never saw the movie.
That doesn't surprise me one bit. Folks at home, did that surprise you? Let us know. 2seasonapod@gmail.com. Did it surprise you to know that Cam has never seen the Shawshank Redemption, Cam? And oftentimes, and I'm nobody who knows anything about anything, and let alone one who listens to the internet, certainly, but on a fairly like a unanimous lists of decisions and shit, that's like the highest ranked movie ever. Across
I
multiple,
like Spider-Man 1. I thought that was pretty good.
Of course, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 1, of course, he's talking about. Another good one. I like the second one as soon as they brought Dr. Octopus in there.
Did you watch the animated one?
The Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, see, that one I recommend.
That one's pretty
Skip
good.
Shawshank.
I haven't checked out a new animated movie it's been a long time since I've sought out an animated film.
I think that might have been the first one I'd watched in like 15 years.
Like in a long time, yeah. Like I'm not lining up to see the new Monsters movie or the new Toy Story.
Well, I heard it was really good, so I want, and Spider-Man was my superhero growing up.
He was your.
I feel like you were more of a Batman guy.
He was your personal superhero. Like he came and protected you.
He was okay. Put it
now,
this
Cam.
way.
Now this brings up an interesting point because Spider-Man, famously known for navigating around tall buildings. Now, Cam, you're from a small town just outside of Orangeville, Ontario. Yeah, that's right. The closest town is Orangeville. Cam, what would you say the tallest building in Erin, Ontario was?
There was rumors that there was a 3-story building, but you couldn't see it from the outside.
Right. You had to be in Erin to see. Is Erin like Wakanda? And as soon as you step into it, it becomes this glorious, visual playground of resources.
It's more of a state of mind. The town itself. It's not really a town on its own.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no, he wasn't my personal. He was the guy that I had the action figures for.
Mm-hmm.
I never had a Batman action figure, but I had a really good Spider-Man one with 15 joints on it. Right, it had the elbow joint, it had the wrist joint, had the shoulder joint, had the torso joint.
Oh yes,
had
toys got better as they added more.
Because you
points.
don't want. Oh, for sure, yeah. If you had the Spider-Man that just had the leg. That moved back and forth, and the arms, and maybe the head. You're like, ugh, come on, you can't even do anything.
Well, first it was no movement, just the entire action figure is one kind of thing, and then it became sort of like what do you think about as like a Barbie type? The legs can swing back and forth, and the arms can go up and down. And then as soon as
that's when we got the bad reputation of these are dolls, and you go, and these aren't dolls, these are action figures.
Action figures, and then I think the next things to go were probably the elbows and knees. I can recall
that was huge.
I can recall the ankles
feet move sometimes.
The
ankles
the
did
feet,
move.
then wrist, neck movement occasionally, and like you said, the hip movement. Because again, it doesn't need to be realistic. You can have your bottom half facing one way and your front half facing the other way. That's not. We don't care. I don't care about that.
Did you ever have the GI Joes?
Never had a GI Joe.
No, you never big into the military ones.
No. Family's not a military.
My family's not either.
Family.
But I just like them. I just like the guns, and I like to play. We used to have the little, like the little toy soldiers.
From the film Toy Soldiers?
Like the green toy soldiers, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, like Army Men. You're not talking.
Men.
You're not talking about an action figure based on the characters in the film Small Soldiers.
No.
Okay.
The little green army men. I remember fondly making. I used to have a lot of them, and we used to also have this like wood kit where it was like you could build log homes with. Like it was like the stackables. You know what I'm talking about?
Build I believe they're called Lincoln Logs.
Probably, yeah, Lincoln Logs. And I'd build like fortresses and stuff like that with all these military men and stuff. It was a blast. Brings me right back to my childhood.
Why not? You can head down to the dollar store, get yourself a pack of Lincoln Logs, get yourself a couple packs of Army Men, and you're set.
There we go. So yeah, that I don't know. I loved action figures growing up. The GI Joe guys, those are fun. The parachute guys, I mean, you can't get enough of those.
Weren't the parachute guys just the Green Army guys with little parachutes on them?
Okay, you tell me, is a Navy SEAL the same as a general recruit? I'd say no. They look the same, yeah, but one comes out of a plane and one's a basic bitch who operates the computer in Benghazi.
Interesting. So I guess the Army Men, okay, a little beefier of an action figure, anyways.
Yeah. So I like the parachute man. I remember one time back when I was in university at the time, we took them. Me and my friend Jeremy took them up to the top of his building in Toronto, which is probably like 13, 14 stories, and threw them off. And then we'd go down the street, pick them back up, and like it was like 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. in the morning, and we're like literally in our pajamas like little children.
Jesus.
And we get in the elevator and we're about to go down, and then it goes up, and in our hands is the parachute man in between the fingers, and we're like, oh no, this can't go up, this can't go up, this can't go up. Obviously, some lady gets on, and it's like, yeah, we're doing exactly what you think we're doing. Like, there's like, oh, damn kids must have left these out last night. Like, shame on them,
You tried,
right?
you tried to play it off, the two of you. Like, me and my life partner are just picking up all of these army men very early on.
Yeah, don't know. Look what we found on the street. Incredible.
See, we would do that, but we, maybe, I mean, you came from the sticks. I came from the woods, but we would do discount parachute men, which was, take like fishing line, a plastic bag, and an army man. You tie it to them yourself.
Yeah.
Then I would throw them. My bedroom was over top of the backyard, the back deck, and the pool. So it would be throw them out my bedroom window and then try to run downstairs fast enough that you could like jump up into the air and catch them before they went in.
How'd that work out?
It worked out pretty well. You know what? Now my parents like upgraded to hardwood, but before like you had to run through rooms which were carpet, which was great because you could get a good grip with your toes.
Yeah.
If it was just, we would be slipping and sliding around if it was just hardwood. But yeah, it would work to like a reasonable efficacy. It's not it's not really far, and you clear the area. No, I have no siblings. No one's getting in my way. I just kind of clear the area, the running space, and then kind of like make sure the dog doesn't run through. It would be good.
Damn, that sounds like a blast.
It
Yeah, I
was
guess
a
you had to
blast.
find out games for yourself when you're growing up without any brothers and sisters, eh?
You know what? I don't remember. I mean, I certainly would have played that game by myself, but I recall playing that game with friends all the time.
Oh, you had friends. See, the thing with living
Yes,
in the
Cam, I
country
had
is,
friends.
but the thing is, you can't really see your friends often unless your parents drive you to them,
Oh,
right?
if I was an only child of divorce in the country, you might as well just play Pokemon Snap and blow your brains out.
I was gonna say, you might as well start writing your manifesto.
Yeah,
'cause
fucking start
it's not gonna end up well.
Start the manifesto right there. Yeah, I mean, even like my best friend growing up was 35-second walk around. I could see my other best friend's house. Like we could see each other from our front yards. He was like up a hill a little bit, but there was never a. Yeah, it was kind of like I'd stand outside and see three of my friends and be like, "Hey, what are we doing today?" And I think I was
what's
the
game today?
I was the only one who didn't have a sibling, so my house often became the place to go just because it was kind of free. No, there
Free
were
range,
rules.
yeah.
There were rules. It certainly was not a no rules household, but
Yeah.
my mom would
What was the rule for the kitchen?
What about the kitchen?
Like, were you guys allowed to eat, like, make food or eat whatever you want, or was that like a highly contended area where it's like, don't go in there, don't make a mess?
Mom would make us always like hot dogs, and
that's a good one.
Mom would always bring out like hot dogs and potato salad. And that would be her kind of thing. Even when I was like in high school and we would have long band practices all day, when we'd be taking a break, Mom would come down with like a tray of, wieners, bangers, and mash, and she would always partake in that. But there was never a room that was off limits. If anything, the more we play, like we just played in all the rooms, creating so much more landscape. My bedroom was, the good guys' base, and then the basement was the bad guys' base, and then the kitchen was some other planet. Because we were all Star Wars action figures, so it would have been like every
yes,
room
of
was a
course.
different situation going on, and then of course the backyard had its own set of rules. I'm sure. No Millennium Falcon in the pool. That was like a personal rule. Like I would let the action figures in the pool, but not like the bigger things.
Right? Yeah, you just can't risk it.
Because my toys are fucking played with, and it's so fun to see them now. I mean, when my like little nieces and nephews come over, like the first thing they ask is for me to bring out like the two Rubbermaid bins of toys that my mom
you
has
still
kept
have
for
yours,
them.
eh?
Of course, right? Well, I mean, the niece and nephews are coming up; they need something to play with, and I always kept such good care of my toys. I threw them against a wall or smudged their faces intentionally. They all, of course, there's some paint that's scratched away because I played with these toys for fucking the entire time.
25 years.
Yeah, 25 years, the entire time I ever played with toys. So to see these things, and then still, they're not in collectors, condition, but they're in such a like loved
They're in
condition.
playable condition.
I have these. So it was my neighbors are just kind of that like 20 years older than I am, or like the 10 to 15, like that one
Your
chunk.
current neighbors?
I don't know where they live now, but they.
Oh, I
know,
thought you meant
kind
like where you live, like right now in Toronto.
No, I said where I live. Never mind.
Where you live.
But they had the first ever run of Star Wars action figures, which was exactly like we were saying with that kind of like Barbie thing of like their upper torso, their arms move,
Right.
front
And they already
back.
have the bend at the elbow, and it's like,
Some of them would. A lot of them would be straight, and their knees would be straight too. So you would just be
tough.
kind of walking like, with your legs straight. And then they gave me all of their toys. So I had new and old Star Wars versions, like old Luke Skywalker, new Luke Skywalker, and their toys were equally as played with. So it was, they would like bury them in the sand, and then you'd dig them up a couple days later, and I would do the same shit, Like I said, yeah, strap parachute to somebody, fucking throw them into the pool, try to run and catch.
yeah. I used to have a lot of cars. That was my thing. I used to have a lot of like dinky cars and whatnot, and I still like having them around. I mean, I think I have one on my desk. Yeah, we got one right here. A 1970 Challenger. Just something I've always kind of had a lot of. And then one day I came home and I had them all arranged on a shelf, like 50 of them, right? And they were gone. And I'm like, where'd they go? And my parents like, we gave them to, whatever niece and nephew. And I was kind of like, that makes sense. I haven't played them for a few years. But looking back, I'm like, there were one or two where I would have liked to have, had those ones at least. And I ended up keeping this one.
Yeah, Cam, that was one of the silliest decisions you've ever made. If I were to ask my mom, like, to this day, give me, like, a top 4 or 5 life regrets you have. And definitely in that top 5 of hers would be I gave away my whole Barbie collection. She was a kid in the 60s. She had Barbies. But then, of course, through moving around, and at one point I think she said she gave them to, like, a little girl down the street. And admirable at the time. I'm sure she was probably a teenager, like, I don't care. But now my mom, especially being a homeowner for so many years, having the space to put a couple of old toys, she's like, shit, I just really wish I still had that. Just to
I'd be okay with like 5 of them. I don't need like that, all of them.
Well, I mean, however, whatever the X amount of kind of things were. But if the space is there, Cam, I mean, I have these, all these, so I've condensed all of my toys into these 2 Rubbermaid containers, kind of like the big ones that you would, move
I know the
with.
ones.
And they're stacked on top of each other beside the washer dryer at my parents' place, literally taking up no space. I mean, for me, it's sort of like, well, I did get rid of a lot of toys and things like that and clothes and stuff from when I was a kid, and I kind of condensed it down to these little 2 things, and it's like, look, those bins are probably going to be there for the rest of my life.
Right. That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to go back and look at it and be like, it brings back all the fun memories of it.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of wish I had a few more.
No, I think that's one of those things.
Wish I kept the Lego.
The Lego? See, yeah, everyone has that one thing. I voluntarily gave away my Pokemon cards. I was totally okay with that. Mm-hmm. I kept my favorites, though. I kept, like, the best Pokemon and Digimon
rare
cards that I
ones.
had. The rare ones, and just kind of, like, the ones that I liked, or I think there was, like, a couple, like, evolution chains that I had, and I had, like, the whole
Ooh,
set.
powerful.
I had a Mewtwo with 3 attacks. And I had never seen a card that had 3 moves. Every card always had 1 or 2, and I got one with 3. So I was like, this is a keeper. Who knows how much any of that shit's worth? I don't care if it's worth 0.
Yeah, it could be worth 40 cents, could be worth $100. It's
And
more the how much they're worth in your heart.
And I don't think I care either way.
Yeah.
I don't know. But other than that, it's great to have those toys to go back to.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of old reminiscences, I got a fun game for us to bring us back to a few years, maybe 10 years ago, we'll say. You want to play?
I mean, I'll say, oh shit, Cam, you were on such a roll with this segue.
I was waiting for you to give me the okay.
I always hate interrupting you when you are segueing, because I always feel like, Cam, you'll get on a segue, I'll cut you off halfway through, and then really make the story about myself, where that's not true. The story should be about you. This is your segment. Cam, so I'm gonna stop talking. I'm taking a look at the whiteboard. It does say specifically Cam segment.
Cam segment.
Now we wrote it in red, which is usually the color we write things that will probably need to be heavily edited.
Heavily edited.
Well, I don't know. You wrote it. I don't think that's my writing, or maybe that's one of the producers.
God damn it. Goddamn interns.
Maybe those other guys. Who are the dictionary guys who hang out here?
I don't know. This guy named James, I think. I think we hired him on. We're not paying him anything, but he wants the exposure or some bullshit.
Yeah, they have.
I endorsed him on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they have the show after Dalia's Hour, which, by the way, the 2 Season of Pod Studio is open to those who do want to podcast. But of course, if you want to broadcast your show on the network, you need to. There is a bit of a financial changing of hands. It's not much. It's $100. All it costs is $100. Dalia's been like 3 months late on his studio rent time. Cam, is this something that
he hasn't posted anything on LinkedIn or on
Is this
Instagram
something we should be concerned about?
He's good for it. I mean, he's all
good.
Over the Netflix.
He's an LA comedian on Netflix.
He's an LA comedian. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing could go wrong for you. We know you have the money. I don't really want to make this about this thing because, again, Cam, like I just said before, you get halfway through a segue and then I make it about myself. So, Cam, I'm going to take a step back, as it were, figuratively, not literally, because I do think I do need to be close to the microphone. And if I took a step back, the gain would sort of be all over the place. Listeners wouldn't be able to hear me. So, Cam, I'm going to figuratively take a step back from the microphone and let you continue with your segue.
Well, the segue that kind of got killed now, it's over, was bringing it back 10 years. We're going to be looking at the top 8. That's right, people. It's a March Madness bracket for one-hit wonders from the era of 2000, men only. That means there's a follow-up for women. Oh, actually, that's wrong.
Okay, yeah,
that's
don't
wrong. It's 8 people. It's not men only. It's a mix.
Yeah, rephrase that next time, because I do like that you said the females list would come later, but I feel like you should get to that before you say like men only. You should
guy stuff.
Anyways, this isn't segue. This isn't the segue class. This is March Madness. I'm playing. I'm gonna run the gauntlet. 8 teams. If you don't know how a bracket works, Google search March Madness bracket for dumbasses, and then I'm pretty sure like the first image will pop up. And you'll have a little idea of this.
All right. So first off, and I'm not even gonna say the song name. I'm gonna sing it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, Cam, I just wanna. May I say one more thing before we start with this? We were talking about.
Cut me off again.
This was a list that was in the works for a little bit while, and we had thought to ourselves separating men and women and things like that. And looking into, I just want to make sure. Did you look into? I would like to know your definition of a one-hit wonder, because I think there are a few schools of thought.
Okay, so one-hit wonder is not for like the true fans, or it's like, oh, but I think they had like 7 or 8 good songs. It's for like the one-time real radio plays, where it's like these people got big, they got on the charts, and that's about it, right? You didn't really hear much from them on the radio ever again. So if someone comes back and they're like, no, they had that album in 2009 that rocked, it's like to you and your friends, not the rest of the world.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. I do believe that at one point there was some people have tried to define what the qualification is, and that it is you only have one song that cracks the Billboard top 50. Or using things like this, sometimes, like let's say you could sometimes even consider solo artists of bands to be one-hit wonders. That's where it gets a bit weird. You know, if a lead singer from a band who has multiple hits puts out a hit that, you know, and under their solo release only cracks the top 50 one time, are they a one-hit wonder even though they've achieved so much with their other group? It is kind of hard to say.
Okay, well, let's jump into this. If there's any disagreements, feel free to email the show. Starting off, and I think you'll know this one immediately. Making my way downtown, walking fast, holding fast, oh no. That's right, folks. It's Vanessa Carlton with 1,000 Miles versus Stacy's mom. It's got it going on. So long. And that's by Fountain of Wayne, a classic.
This is a big one. Stacy's Mom and 1,000 Miles, right? Is that what it's called? 1,000? Yeah, 1,000 Miles. Both I think fall in that category of having that one song that cracked the tops, anything. I wonder, you know, I'm sure the true fans of Vanessa Carlton are screaming at us, no, she had that other single. She may have had that other single. Who knows?
But that's not the one people remember.
That's not the one people remember. Fountains of Wayne, though, definitely only had that one song. And I wonder if both of those acts are even going to this day. I'm sure they are in some incredibly small capacity.
So who do you got?
This one's tough. I really don't have an affinity to either song. It's not like one, you know, defined a time of my life or something. Stacy's Mom is funnier, but I'm gonna go Vanessa Carlton. I'm gonna say I believe she is more talented than the latter. So 1,000 Miles is going on to the second round.
I agree with that one 100% because that was also in that movie, Be Careful What You Wish For, with Hilary Duff, where she wished that her brother was gone. Family movie, of course, and then she had a completely different life, and she was very sad because, you know, she got what she wished for, but she should have been careful. Cue the song.
Oh wait, so
Way downtown.
So Hilary Duff wished that her brother was never born, and then she woke up one morning and it was as if her brother was born.
But she was in a different life. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, you know what's super dark about that particular like style of story structure, I feel, because, you know, I feel like that's a bit that's probably been played out in other sitcoms or anything, is that we don't see the character, you know, the main character, the protagonist, like dealing with the grief of the death, essentially, of a loved one. We always kind of skip past it, and it's like more like what their life is now is worse. But no, the entire duration of the film, presumably, they are going through those 5 stages of grief. What are the 5 stages of grief? Gabadab or something? Abadab?
It's depression.
Dab. There's some
depression, emotion, ignorance, avoid at all costs, pretend it never happened. I think that's what it is.
And the final one.
That's how I deal with it, at least.
And the final one, you can't forget number 6. Bury it down below.
Bury it. Never talk about it.
Never talk about it. That's the next one. Yeah, dab and nab. Cam, why don't you bring
die with it? Okay. Next up. So we have coming up. And this one, I think you'll know it. I'll tell you my dirty little secret. Don't tell anyone, just another regret. Just another regret. Hope you can keep it, my dirty little secret. Who has to know? All American Rejects, Dirty Little Secret. Versus, I think you're going to know this one because who the fuck doesn't? As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. That's a Vitamin C special. I don't know if she's even alive anymore to come back from that one. That's Vitamin C with Graduation, in brackets, Friends Forever.
Now, Cam, I'm glad that we earlier on, just as before the list started, attempted to define at least who, you know, kind of qualifies in that one hit wonder. Because, Cam, I love that, and of course there's always wild cards that sneak it into any bracket, but I don't believe that the All American Rejects are a one hit wonder. They had Move Along, they had Dirty Little Secret.
Oh my God.
They had
they might have to get canceled off this list then.
They had that other track. Fuck, I can't hear it in my head right now. Was the word little or fire? Move it, swing. I would say they had three.
No,
kind
don't
of
know that one. It's not real.
However, though, people are always entering playoff situations through nefarious means. So we will give the All-American Rejects that. But I gotta say, the Vitamin C song.
That one is a little bit of a slide in there.
Vitamin C, that was her. That was the one hit, and it's incredible to write a hit that gets played all the time. Like that, like the song they play at hockey games, like the da-na-na-na-na. Hey, da-na-na-na. Like, it's amazing that Gary Glitter was able to write just one song, collect royalties from sports leagues for years, and then it was up to him that he chose to use it on purchasing underage girls in Thailand. That was completely up to him.
That's his choice.
That's his choice. I mean, we chose to probably turn a blind eye, but it is amazing that somebody can write one piece of music like this. And Vitamin C is no different than that. The only difference between her and another graduation theme song standout, Green Day, is that Green Day just had a couple more songs. Because, of course, every graduating slideshow had both Time of Your Life and Vitamin C as we go on.
As it should.
As it should. I think an artist in the future, maybe we should start writing like happier, upbeat, like moving on songs. That rejoice in celebrating that life keeps evolving at a slightly upper tempo, so we can kind of dance to it.
I know you don't want to dance; you want to cry. That's the whole point of saying goodbye.
Oh, okay. See, I've never said goodbye before. Cam, I'm going to say...
I just ignore.
I bury it deep down below.
Bury it.
I'm gonna go with Vitamin C on this one. I haven't graduated anything in a while, but I bet they're still playing her songs.
Vitamin C takes the win. Mm-hmm. This next one is a personal favorite of mine, and funny little story about this next song. And I want you to picture this: this guy who lives or has a cottage on my lake in Halliburton has like a mad expensive boat, like a couple $100,000 boat.
I believe I saw it the other day.
You did see it, yeah. And the first time I see this boat, he rolls up and he chats with us, and then he pulls away. And this is the song that he plays, and I didn't even know how to react. You would not believe your eyes if 10 million fireflies lit up the world as I fell asleep. 'Cause they'll fill the open air, and they'll leave teardrops everywhere. You'd think it's true, but I would just stand and stare. I'd like to make myself believe. That's right. It's Fireflies by Owl City. How do you react to that when you see a $200,000 boat blasting that onto a lake? Do you feel respect? Do you feel like, what? Like, how do you react? What's a good reaction to that?
Because that was two things at one time. I've never seen an adult listening to Owl City, and I don't think I've ever seen a man listening to Owl City either. So that's kind of like a twofer. That would catch me off. That would really catch me off guard.
Yeah, it definitely threw me off guard.
Was he especially also, and I can't remember specifically what he looked like, but the heavier set he is, that the more surprising it would be. A skinny guy, yeah, I definitely picture a skinny guy listening to Owl City, but a plump, large individual, I just can't picture it.
No. Yeah. So we're facing that up against the next one. This is a song hated by much after much radio play. Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty. Yes, you do. Times Square can't shine as bright as you. I swear it's true. And you gotta give the eyes when you're singing that one. That's right, everyone. It's Plain White Tees. Hey there, Delilah.
Yeah, Cam, I could hear the poutiness in. I could hear the poutiness in you when you sung that. Okay, so what we have here is Plain White Tees and Owl City. God, this is a terrible matchup. This is two of like the bottom teams in the league, or this would be like a. Yeah, there's the one series in every playoff matchup that you just don't care
You know
about.
it's not going to take it to the win,
What's-
yeah.
or
it's
either-
your Arizona Coyotes versus who gives a fuck, right? You're like, I don't care.
That's exactly it. I think in this
Yeah.
year's NBA, it was so far it's been it was Houston OKC. I watched a game. It ended pretty fun. I don't care about the series though. Plain White T's and Owl City are both the others, like that side of like emo and pop punk too. Being a fan of the genre, like being a fan of emo music and pop punk music in high school, they were the ones that was even for me. You're like, that's a little bit too much. You're a little bit too on one side or on one side or the other, kind of like that mass appealing. I picture like the pop punk girls in high school, like the Plain White T's and Owl City.
Yeah.
And for us, you're just
And they
kinda
wore
like,
a lot of checkered stuff and Vans.
yes,
and-
Checkered.
Mm-hmm.
Checkered was a big. When's that going to make a comeback? The
hope never.
Dickie shorts. I used to have a couple pair of Dickies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a good look on my, probably hairless white calves. Hairless white calves. There's another name for a band.
That's a band name.
I don't care one bit who wins this series. So we're gonna flip a coin. We're gonna flip a coin. Heads, Plain White T's. Tails, Owl City, and we got. Oh, I hope that flip picked up on Mike. We got heads, Plain White T's.
All right.
Hey there, Delilah, taking it.
Hey there, Delilah takes the cake on that one. Next up was a song that I remember personally because we used to have one kid in our class who used to sing it a lot and really pull out those heartstrings. Closed up from love, I didn't need the pain. Once or twice was enough, but it was all in vain. Time starts to pass before you know it, you're frozen. Oh, I keep bleeding, keep bleeding love. That's right, it's Leona Lewis, Bleeding Love. Versus, this one's this one's pretty hot. It just takes some time, little bit after right. Oh, but it'll be alright. Oh, but it'll be alright. That's Jimmy Eat World with The Middle. That one slaps.
Wow. Yeah, this is a good one, Cam. When you're singing these songs, also thanks. I appreciate for you singing these songs. Therefore, our YouTube audience won't be. We won't get kicked off YouTube for putting up all these original audio clips. Bleeding Love, that track is huge. Cam, I would love to hear you sing it with a little more
Passion?
Exactly, right? It is a passionate song. The I don't care what they say, I'm in love with you. But the name Leona Lewis, I've never heard that name before. Certainly the definition of of that kind of one hit wonder thing. But Cam, just like the All American Rejects squeaked in there somehow, I need to question how these guys, how Jimmy Eat World also snuck into the thing, because they had a couple more songs, I think.
I don't know. So the next biggest song is Sweetness, okay?
Yeah,
So
that was a good one.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this up, Sweetness, and see where it landed on the tracks.
We need to
Sweetness.
see. Again, we need to have, and they also had a track, it takes my pain away, never mind, there's 100 times. I saw them once in concert. They actually put on a pretty damn good show. It brings us back to the what is a one-hit wonder. The true, I
think most people would not know the song Sweetness.
that's a good point. I'm doing a quick look right here, Cam. I think again we would have to reposition what our definition is because both The Middle and Pain both reached number one on the rock tracks. So it is tough to say. Like I understand what you're saying. My dad may recognize one Jimmy Eat World song and know they're a one-hit one, call them a one-hit wonder.
And he knows The Middle.
Of course, no. I'm gonna say Pain. My father, I think of Pain, so I think he would know that song and probably hold it dear.
When I think of my father, I think of Pain.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, if you,
If you saw what I put him through as a kid.
Oh, exactly. No, I knocked my dad's one of my dad's front teeth out. Like a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot
That's what
of
you
pain.
get for not coming back with my Marlboros, Dad.
Well, that's what it was, right? He finally came back, and I was like, "You left all this time for Marlboro Golds?" I
And you
slapped
didn't
him.
fucking get me a pack?
He didn't get me a pack. Jesus
least get me
Christ!
some
You didn't get me a carton of Marlboro Golds. That's the order. So because of that, I gotta say, the passion of the Bleeding Love song is a song that we hear at when stuff at Casa Loma concerts all the time. That's a big track for a very strong voiced female singer to really belt out there.
like
It
me.
sounds just like you, just like Cam LeClaire, taking jobs away from women since 1994. Cam, Leona Lewis is going forward to the next round.
Bleeding Love. Okay. Well, I think considering she'll be facing off, well, let's just get this out of the way. Bleeding Love is going to be facing off against Hey There Delilah. Should I just wipe Hey There Delilah off the charts?
Well, that's a good point. Of course, Hey There Delilah getting to the next round through the infamous coin flip. I think it's safe to say, yeah, I think Bleeding Love's going to definitely take that second round. I don't feel the passion in Hey There Delilah. Maybe because my name's not Delilah, so I find it hard to identify with both the protagonist and the subject, the muse of the song.
Now, so this next one's going to be tricky, and what I'm going to do to make it a little bit easier for you is I'm going to sing the last verse of the songs, okay? Okay, so for 1,000 Miles, picture this, you're at a concert, you have Vanessa Carlton there, she's your dream girl, you've been waiting all night for me to sing this song, and it's coming to the close, it's coming right to the end of the show. Okay? If I could fall. Oh, yeah. If I could fall. Oh, that doesn't make sense. I don't know this part. Oh, well, cancel that.
Into the sky?
Fuck.
Do you think time would pass
No,
me
that's
by?
what I thought, but it says, if I could fall into the sky. Oh, if I could fall into the sky, do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you. If I could just hold you tonight. Oh my, how does your heart feel right now?
I know. I feel like I'm watching Vanessa Carlton on that parade float, like in the music video. I can just feel it. I can see it.
Oh, God. And then the last one, I guess it's just the same as the chorus. As we go. I think I prefer the better. I think I prefer the beginner. And so we talked all night about the rest of our lives. When we were gone, we were turned 25. I kept thinking times will never change. Kept thinking times will never be the same. But when we leave this year, we won't be coming back. No more hanging out because we're on a different track. And I forgot to tell you that you need to say, you better say it right now because you don't have another day. Because when we're moving on, we can't slow down. These memories are playing like a film without sound. And I keep thinking about that night in June. I didn't know much about love, but it came too soon. Fuck.
Wow.
That was, yeah.
That was
Holy
great.
smokes.
Step aside, Lil Kim. I think Cam
Step
LeClaire
aside.
is ready to take another job away from a qualified
deserving
woman.
woman?
A qualified, somebody else who's qualified, Cam. So what we're looking at here is Vitamin C versus Vanessa Carlton. God, I didn't know there was so much. It was such like a rap there in the verse.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that first verse is like, it's so hip and fly,
That
And so we talked last night about the rest of our lives. You know?
That being said, off the top of my head, I cannot hear what the verses in 1,000 Miles sounds like. I mean, of course, we all know the chorus and the little doodly doodly doo, but I mean, just in terms
Do you
of
want me
right
to sing
now,
a different one? I can sing a different one.
the staying power right now is that before you sung. Before you sung that vitamin C bit, I knew that was kind of how the verse played out. It was like a dun 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 dun. I can't even hear what the verse of 1,000 Miles would be like.
It's making my way downtown, walking fast, fastest pace and homebound. Staring blankly ahead, just making my way through the crowd.
I mean, Cam, you're almost
Ready
getting
for it?
there. What does the bridge sound like?
Ba 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 ba. And I need you. Ba 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 ba. And I miss you. Ba 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 ba. And now I wonder. I think that's the bridge, right? Because that bridge is the verse and the chorus.
I would probably
Right?
call that the pre-chorus, and the part that I'd call the bridge is the like do probably like after the second chorus is probably where the bridge is.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can find that.
You don't have to find it. I can.
That's okay.
That's okay for me, or that's okay for you.
No, it's okay. I won't find
Who's
it.
it okay for? God,
isn't
this
it
one's
okay
this
for?
one's tough. I think just due to its name. I mean, if you want to assure your music is played forever, just write a song literally titled "A Thing That Will Continue to Happen Forever." Graduation people will always be graduating.
Oh, no.
Until
You're gonna take that? Oh,
until
no.
schools
Yeah,
schools and all other educational institutions are wiped off the face of this planet. Graduating will continue to occur. Vitamin C
coming
with the upset.
ultimate. Holy smokes, Vanessa Carlton and the whole bench is crying. They can't believe the upset. The betters are going to be losing lots of money in Vegas tonight because Vitamin C's coming home with the W.
Vitamin
going into
C
the
is
finals.
coming home. The 1,000-mile walk home for Vanessa Carlton.
Oh, dude. I was watching the
it-
Bruins game the other day, and they had the best call at the end of it. Because you know Jack Edwards, right?
Yes.
They watch out the Hurricanes, and there's like 5 seconds left in the game, and he goes, "They said hurricane season ends November 31st, but today the Bruins, for a second year straight, send the Hurricanes packing." And I was like, "Oh God, that was good. Thank you for that, Jack Edwards." Okay, wow, I did not see this coming. We have 2 ladies that definitely would be considered one-hit wonders with Vitamin C and Leona Lewis, Bleeding Love versus Graduation in brackets Friends Forever.
Friends for okay. I'm glad there's a bracket there. God, this one's tough. This one's truly a battle. And March Madness is throughout the years is filled with Cinderella stories, and I think Vitamin C coming up is the Cinderella story we all need. Besides Bleeding Love, God, this one's tough. Now, here is where we step aside from the practicality of the song. Of course, we were just saying Vitamin C, Graduation will be played on every graduation, but I mean, what? You maybe have two definite graduations in your life, kind of like an elementary school and a high school. Some people have middle school in the middle. But it's a smaller number than certainly, I think, on the other side, the amount of times one's heart will be broken in a lifetime. I mean, I'm sure there are those high school sweethearts out there who never face a devastating loss in their life, but there are Romeos and Juliets all over the planet, getting their heart broken in 2. They just keep bleeding after this heartbreak. I think the story of Bleeding Love is something that we will all continue to experience. Possibly equally as long as educational institutions will be graduating young students. And I think because of that, I think the realness of what we've all felt, all having our hearts broken at one point or another, I think Leona Lewis knew what she was talking about. She knew what she was writing. She knew the words she was putting to paper. and she's walking home with this victory.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. This is unprecedented. Just like 2020 has been a tough year, Leona Lewis coming home with a victory that no one, I repeat, no one saw coming.
No,
certainly
not I, because
we are bleeding love.
I certainly didn't see it coming, Cam, mainly because you made the list. So there was no way I could have seen this coming at all. But Cam, now is, of course, the time. How did your list shape up?
So I would have had 1,000 Miles at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I would have gone the middle. Then Fireflies, Stacy's Mom, Dirty Little Secrets, Bleeding Love, Hey There Delilah. So pretty low on my list.
Wow, yeah, that was our lists almost seemed like they were reversed at some point.
Flipped.
Cam, I mean,
Now, I got one more thing.
Okay.
For the fans at home that want to listen to that playlist, follow me on Spotify, cam.leclaire, to see the full thing and play it for your friends.
You can play the full 8 songs. You can play March Madness at home. It's actually pretty damn easy.
Quite easy.
All you do is make a list and then talk about it for 35 and a half minutes. Because that's what we're doing here on the show. We've pivoted recently. We're always trying new things. Kim Mitchell is staying very to his script, playing alternately himself, Rush, and the Tragically Hip. It's kind of become more of like a Canadiana channel more than anything else.
Yes, sir.
He's slipping the odd American, kind of doing like a reverse CanCon. Instead of like a 3-to-1 ratio, it's like a 1-to-3. He's trying to do everyone a little bit of help. Of course, the guys at what the next Schuster and Webster. Was that his name? No, fuck.
Schuster and Webster?
Something like that.
Webster and Schumer?
Of course, we're building on with that show, the Dalia show. Do you want your voice to be heard on the Two Season to Pod network? Let us know, twoseasontopod@gmail.com. Do you want to ask us any questions, possibly some financial opportunities? Again, twoseasontopod@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. Now, do you have a new game for us this week, Cam, or are we going to push it next week?
You know what, Cam? We've been subjected the listeners to almost an hour of us speaking. Cam, one thing I like about the show is that, again, I'm the one facing the whiteboard today, so you can't see the whiteboard. Sort of all the general notes that are written down. We could, we're gonna hold off a new little fun game until next week. So, like we were trying to do last week, remember, Cam, teasing things for next week. Stay tuned. We have a new game.
Stay tuned, we have a new game. And I guess that means we're probably not getting to the word of the day either then.
Of course we can, Cam. You just said it right there. So what are we calling this thing? I think this game has had 4 different iterations of it. Elements of reverse balderdash, and now it's Urban Dictionary exclusive. Or is it a word of the day element, or are you just sort of looking for words on Urban Dictionary?
Well, no, I try and find a word on Urban Dictionary that I think would be a good reverse balderdash, which is the name of the game. I try and find a word on Urban Dictionary that would be a good reverse balderdash.
Interesting.
Is the name of the game.
Okay.
Okay. So, I guess I say the word, and then I give a definition or a sentence, and you have to guess what the definition is, right?
Okay.
Okay. So the word is pimp nails.
Pimp nails. Cool.
Used in a sentence is, in 50 Cent's Pimp video, Snoop Dogg was showing off his pimp nails.
Snoop Dogg was showing off his pimp nails.
Yeah.
Huh, okay. So, can you repeat the sentence? Sorry.
In 50 Cent's PIMP video, Snoop Dogg was showing off his pimp nails.
God, I'm trying to
Word is pimp nails.
Okay, pimp nails. Okay, so let's backtrack. So I don't know what you heard about me, but if you can't get $1 out of me, no Cadillac or person can see that I'm a motherfucking PIMP. Okay, so there's some good clues. Oh wait, that wasn't even Snoop Dogg saying it. God, so what is he doing in that movie? In that video, he has like the pimp hat, the furry pimp hat. He's got the fucking cane. He's got the pimp chalice. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Pimp nails are the expensive luxuries or rewards, if you will, from leading a successful pimp clan. You know, you're such a good pimp. You have so much money. You spend it on these jewels, these extravagant items, and it's you showing off these extravagant items.
So no, let's put it bluntly. No, you got a little bit off there. A pimp nail is actually the long pinky nails used to scoop and snort cocaine.
Ah, the old pimp nail. See, I guess pimps would do coke. For some reason, I don't picture pimps doing drugs. That's not like those two things don't mix in my mind.
I mean, I don't think they're advertised for it, but I think they would.
Because, see, I would always just call, or I would think people, like, if you see somebody with that long pinky, I would always just in my head call it a coke nail just because it's used for coking.
That's what I thought, too, yeah. But obviously, we're not the
so
right
it's not
definition.
used for pimping, though. I guess it's like you have so much shit that, you're a fucking pimp and you can do blow all the time.
Yeah, I'm reading through the lyrics here. There's nothing that talks about doing coke in the song P.A.M.P. Man, this hoe, you gotta have her when I'm done. I ain't gonna give her, man, bitches come and go. Every neighbor pimpin' know. This ain't no secret. You gotta keep it on the low. Bitch, choose me. I'll have you stripping in the street. There's generally nothing in here that's talking about doing coke.
Interesting.
Yeah, catch a date, suck a dick, shit trick. You tell me. Is that about coke? I think no.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well that's and one thing I love with the reverse balderdash, we're expanding our knowledge more than anything else.
Yeah, we're just trying to stay hip.
Great, Cam. I've got one for you if you're looking for something.
Ooh, I love games.
Okay, one more game here, Cam. Here we go. We've got Dog Shot.
Dog shot. Could you use that in a sentence, please?
Could I use that in a sentence, please? Of course. I was talking to a girl at the bar. Then my ex came up and gave me a dog shot.
Whew, this is tricky. My ex gave me a dog shot. I'm going to go ahead and think that it's some form of cock blocking. That's my final answer.
Some form of cock blocking final answer. It's not the right answer, though, Cam. If you're getting a dog shot, you're getting punched without, looking. Like, you punched from behind, you weren't paying attention, you didn't know. Maybe another word for a sucker punch, but that's a dog shot.
That's a fun one. Gonna start using that.
Yeah.
Don't know how, but I'll find a way.
Yeah, I'm not often hitting people, let alone hitting them without
a little
looking.
bit tricky. Yeah.
Because pimp nail is a little bit hard to use in a sentence, especially not as a cocaine doer. It is really tough for me to get those two things together. And that was some reverse balderdash, Cam. I gotta get a theme song rocking for that reverse balderdash. We'll find something out.
Yeah, we'll find something. Well, we've already hit the hour mark, so I think we got to make an executive decision. Do we keep Kim Mitchell banging at the door, or do we log off?
I think Kim Mitchell, similar to Jeff Rosenstock, needs to keep banging at the door because this is our studio. This is our studio. Our names are over top of the building, over top of the studio. I see that red light that says live still going, so I think we need to give the fans what they want to hear. We need to give them our final game of the day. Of course, it is a little bit of headline or asinine.
Hey, headline, headline or asinine.
We all know how it's played. There's a bunch of headlines back and forth. We got to figure out which one or ones are fakes. Cam, I'm gonna kick off with my first headline. Ready for it?
Yeah.
Ready for it? Lemonade stand in Illinois robbed at gunpoint.
Well, Illinois has been seeing some tough times lately. Luckily, they're not seeing the hurricane coming through, but it's a tough city to live in, and everybody got to make a dollar. A lot of people with those pimp nails out there got to fill them up. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's a headline.
Damn right, that's a headline, and it is. It is. This happened somewhere in Illinois, in Peoria, Illinois. Two 13-year-old boys were operating a lemonade stand outside their house when they got approached in a car by two men. One of them had a gun. They took the cash box these two guys had that had about $30 in it. And that's about that. Of course, they called the cops. Community's kind of, it's rallying together, to give these boys, these boys were just trying to make a little bit of buck and bring some joy to people's lives. And the community has raised a bunch of money to help these two. Encourage them not to give up, including raising over $3,500 through Facebook fundraisers and PayPal donations. So you can donate your own if you want these 13-year-old white boys to keep serving you lemonade.
Love it. All right. Well, we got a headline for you here. Or is it asinine? Hand-size biting spiders are coming to your home looking for sex.
Hand-size biting spiders. Well, okay, so I'm gonna picture it's kind of you open up your hand, and that's kind of it's. We see 5 of the 8 legs. You can kind of picture the other 2 legs coming up. Those are some badass motherfuckers, right? Some dock spiders. See, now I'm just worried about this article. What kind of houses are they talking about? Because this article written in Australia is probably just normal. Or if anything, they'd be like, "Why are you wasting time talking about big ass spiders coming to our house? We already know big ass spiders coming to our house. It's Australia." The toilets flush the other way. Everything's backwards. But, if you were writing this in a fucking urban environment, now I would be scared, right? Because in a cottage life or, by the jungle, the outback, large animals, that sounds about right. But for a huge breed of spider to survive in downtown Toronto, that spider's a badass motherfucker. God, maybe I can get bit by him. Can swing around on some webs. Maybe. I'm going to say this is a headline, but it's from a place that doesn't concern me.
That's correct. So it is a headline. It's from Wales, actually. The peak time to see them is 7:35 p.m., an expert has said. I'm going to go ahead and call bullshit on that because I don't know why you got the 35. I'm calling bullshit. The first or second week of September, we'll see a peak in the number of large male spiders wandering through houses looking for a mate. So they're coming in looking for the females, which will be hidden in shadows. Normally not of harm, but they do bite if kind of gone after. So keep an eye out if listeners from Wales, UK.
Now, is it wrong to think that, or is it wrong? I mean, clearly it's wrong, but I'm not wrong to have thought that spiders just kind of lay eggs and they don't need a mate, right? Is that crazy?
No,
is that
no,
crazy that I
didn't? They do
didn't?
need mates. Of course they need mates.
I've never seen spiders I've never seen spiders hump. That's not a thing. I can't picture one spider mounting another. I've never seen a spider penis. I've never seen spider titties. I've never seen any of these things. I just assumed they just kind of the mom, or the females just kind of pooped out the big egg sac. I've seen the egg sac. I saw no cum around the egg sac.
Where do you think the eggs get fertilized from?
I don't know. How do chickens happen?
They fuck.
I didn't know that. See?
Yeah, it's truth. Truth. Send me a headline.
Cam, I got another headline for you. Okay, you ready for it?
Yeah.
Zoo elephants to be given CBD to help them relax.
Well, the problem with marijuana byproducts and it becoming legal is that every Dick, Dom, and Harry are now claiming that it fixes the world. They're like, dude, if we invested in hemp paper, dude, there wouldn't even be any problem with the amount of dolphins in the ocean. That's how fucking good this stuff is. And you're like, all right, I get that there's benefits. Let's not say this cures the world. Now, I have heard that this does severely reduce anxiety for different animals, and I'm going to go ahead and think that elephants are not excluded from that list, so I'm going to call a headline.
Cam, it's a headline. You got it right, bud. Well, yeah, you're exactly right. This is a story coming out of the Warsaw Zoo in Poland, where CBD is being given to these two very stressed out African elephants, apparently. Elephants are a very intelligent creature, right? They have very complicated brains, just like that of you and I. You know, these aren't, you know, animals on a lower base of thought function. I think they're a little bit higher than the rest of us. And hey, stressed out people need CBD. Maybe these elephants can get it too. Of course, CBD already gets used. CBD already gets used on horses in the professional world, which is a fun fact, and dogs. I have a friend who his dog gets seizures, and once they started putting CBD in his food every day, he went from like a seizure a week to a seizure a month.
Wow.
Yeah, and just simply like one little kind of eyedropper full of CBD in his food a day has like drastically improved not only the dog's quality of life, but also like the family's quality of life.
I heard about this mayor. I think it was in Connecticut. He started doing he had started doing a few drops in his coffee every morning, and next week homelessness no longer a thing in Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah, it's world saver.
Wow. He went from homeless, or he went from an upstanding member of his
huge
community
homeless
to
problem
homeless.
in Connecticut. Nothing now. CBD fixed it.
Wow, CBD. Wow, I can't believe CBD. Now, I heard a similar story that a couple scientists also put some CBD in their coffee, and there's no more AIDS in Africa.
I think I saw that headline. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bonus headline for you right there. CBD actually caused the solution for one of the most deadliest immune deficiencies in the world, syndrome.
All right, headline or asinine. Delaware man charged with 5th DUI after riding lawnmower while intoxicated.
It can happen. They'll get you for that. I wonder though, if you're riding the lawnmower on your property, you know, let's say you have a larger property, you're just kind of doing drunken circles. Would that be, is that allowed, or is it as soon as you like cross the threshold of your property and move on to the public road? Because I would say you would have to be pretty like annoying and drunk and just like belligerent to get the police to be called to your home while you're mowing your lawn. Maybe you're mowing your lawn at an insane time, like 6 a.m. or something. And I think that also begs cam time. That also begs the question, though: how are you drunk at 6 a.m.? Are you new drunk at 6 a.m. or are you at the end of
drunk?
That's old drunk. You would think. My God. I'm gonna say if this did happen, it happened in like a suburb. There's no way this would have happened out in the country. I'm gonna say this is asinine.
This is a headline, and I think you actually nailed it. So he wasn't on his own property. Here's what the first few lines really give a good indication. A Delaware man with a history of drunken arrest have been charged with DUI after authorities said he drove a riding lawnmower while intoxicated. So at first glance, you're like, come on, give the guy a break. You know, here's where it gets a little bit squirrely. Delaware's police arrested the 60-year-old on Tuesday after receiving a report about a person lying along a grassy roadside near the lawnmower. It gets better. While troopers were headed to the scene, authorities received another report that the person had been driving the lawnmower on the road and traveling through yards while acting disorderly. Yeah. He was going a little bit crazy.
So yeah, it's kind of like it's a DUI. It's
the
a drunken
headline
disorderly.
says like, come on, give the guy a break, and then you're like, oh, he was passed out by his lawnmower, and then you're like, oh, he was going through other people's lawns yelling.
Yeah, I picture him. I picture him. Yeah, like he's passed out, fallen off the lawnmower, but like his foot's still on, so it's still just kind of trudging along, like bashing through other people's fences and their bushes and
small
stuff.
patches of grass.
Yeah, cutting like insanely. Like it's like just like these little chunks, down to the dirt. That being said, though, although would have had to change for this man's behavior, like you can still be blackout drunk, but if he did a great job cutting everybody else's lawn, I'm sure the entire neighborhood would be quite appreciative.
I would think so.
And he just wanted to be drunk while he did it, right? Imagine you woke up to a freshly cut lawn and your neighbor passed out on the sidewalk. I mean, I would kind of be happy. I wouldn't call the cops.
Yeah, I'd maybe just take his lawnmower and be like, I don't know what happened to it. What was this guy's name? Ralph.
Cam, I got one more for you. You ready?
Yep.
Ahem. Russian powerlifter fractures both knees while attempting to squat nearly 900 pounds.
Well, the nice thing about this is that I work in medical, and I know that you can't really, like, maybe this is an overstepping on the news reporter, but you can't really fracture a knee. Like, you can fracture your tibia, you can fracture your femur, but, like, the knee itself is the muscles. So I guess it's like the bones, the joint itself, but yeah, you don't really fracture that part. So I'm going to go ahead and call asinine.
Cam, you're calling asinine, but this is a headline. Motherfucker. That's exactly right. This happened in Russia. The man's name is... Oh my God, I'm not saying that. Okay,
Yeah.
so this happened at the 2020 World Raw Powerlifting Federation Championships held
Nice.
in... Oh my God, I'm also not saying that. But it was it was somewhere in Moscow, Russia. This guy squats down. The video's totally up there, by the way. This guy squats down on his lift, which is about 100, which is weighing at 882 pounds, where he just immediately collapses under the weight, tearing every single thing in both knees.
You can tear them, but
Meniscuses
you're not fracturing them.
Meniscuses are flying all over the place.
I'm gonna watch
Tendons are
this video.
tendons are snapping. I don't think you don't see the you see him
Obviously
he's
not,
fine.
but I want to see
He's
how much
screaming
weight
in
this
pain.
looks like.
Yeah, it's a lot of plates, and there's the 4 guys beside him making sure that that everything happens. But yeah, you are right, Cam. You can't fracture a knee or whatever you said. But yeah, I bet that reads a little bit better in a headline rather than tearing meniscus.
Torn meniscus,
specific
ACL, MCL, patella is gone. Yeah, it's all gone.
Exactly, and so I think fracturing your knee plays a little bit better, and probably it's less words probably for a headline.
Yeah. All right, headline or asinine. Archaeological dig in Egypt reveals ancient crack pipe.
Ancient crack pipe. Oh my God! Now this is tough because the history of crack is the CIA gave it out to the American population in 1982. That's where crack started. So to picture Egyptian crack, what government gave out that crack? Did the Egyptian government figure out how to make crack and then they, just distribute it amongst the people? I don't know.
I don't know.
Or maybe, like you say, like I can picture a crack pipe. Have you ever seen somebody doing crack or smoking meth?
No, I haven't actually. Have you?
There's this one guy. Every day I'm leaving my lovely girlfriend's house. I kind of walk down Queen Street. There's always this
Right.
one guy smoking meth and
Is he your-
crack.
is he your roommate?
It's the same pipe. We used to live together. Things got a bit hairy, but every time I see him right there, and half the time I see him, he's either just smoked crack or smoking crack or filling up the pipe so he can start smoking crack. He's always in one of those three
States.
in one of those three
Perpetual
in one of
states,
those
yeah.
Exactly. And one thing about the crack pipe, though, that look, it looks like a scientific beaker of sorts.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, are there other things you can do in a crack pipe besides smoke crack? I'm sure there has to be something that, like you're heating up some preserves, maybe, some salts and seasonings. Heat them up. I don't know. There has to be something else you can do. I'm gonna say this is a headline, but it's misleading just because it looks like a crack pipe.
I made it up. It's a lie.
Yeah. I was about to say.
It's a little
it sounded
fishy.
like
A little fishy.
If that was true, it was like they got what looks like a crack pipe, and then the headline can say crack pipe.
Yeah. It's like resembles a crack pipe, and you're like, they found a crack pipe. They found it. It's proven that it looked like a crack pipe.
Yeah, a little bit greasy, but that's how you play. That's how we play headline or asinine.
That is how we play headline or asinine. Well, thank you so much to all our listeners. I'm going to ahead and assume that we couldn't scroll through the emails this week.
No, can't score the emails this week. I mean, we do have to let, of course, the regular scheduled programming at Two C's in a Pod to keep moving on. Dalia, the dictionary guys, whose name is definitely going to come back up in next week's corrections, and Kim Mitchell, they need to keep moving on with their shows. So I think this show has to come to an end. Remember, you can rate, review, like, subscribe. The podcast is everywhere. You're also going to want to check out on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube or 5 stars on iTunes. I think those are the only way. I don't believe Spotify has a way to rate podcasts, but that's coming up. But Spoticast will certainly have that ability of communication. Of course, as we all know, our $150 million deal with Spoticast outshone that of Joe Rogan. And we're really looking forward to that in the coming weeks.
And good to know. And follow me on Spotify to get that podcast or that playlist for yourself. Cam LeClaire, no period or anything. I made a mistake before. And never forget, everyone, German chocolate cake is named after a guy named Sam German, not the country. Tune in next week, folks, for more fun games, more facts, and a hell of a good time.
Take care, people.
Continuing tonight on Two C's in a Pod. 96.7 on your
Two C's in a pod, 2 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 C's just like 2 C's in a pod, because we're 2 C's in a pod, just like 2 C's in a pod, 2 C's in a pod at gmail.com.